Hello to our viewers around the world. Welcome to OMN, and we're grateful you joined us today on this first for the year English program that we call the special program. This program is produced by Oromia Media Network, OMN, and broadcasted through satellite feed to East Africa and around the world through social media platforms. My name is Derek Jahaz. I'll be your host for this program, joined by our technician Mahdi. On today's first for the year special edition program, we have brought you a guest who you probably seen a couple of times on AMN. He is here to chat with us on current situation of Ethiopia, especially on Benishangul Gumuz region. He is from Benishangul Gumuz area. His name is Engineer Ibrahim Yusuf. Engineer Ibrahim Yusuf is the founder and president of the Benishangul Human Rights Foundation. He also a liaison officer for Oxfam in Benishangul in the past. So, Engineer Ibrahim, I welcome you again to OMN. I want to say again, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mr. Droje, and Happy New Year to your audience and to the all Oromia Network audience, and we hope this year will be better than the last one.
Absolutely. We all wish that. So we would also like, of course, to say thank you to the audience for tuning in to this program and watching us. We ask you to subscribe, like, and share when you see this program on social media. Engineer Ibrahim, again, I welcome you to Oromia Media Network. We will have a two section of discussion today. Of course, the current debate about what's going on in Ethiopia is, a mixture of facts and fictions, with manufactured narratives designed, to serve a few groups who have control over media and propaganda machinery. So, because of it, people who are pushed to extinction, such as the Oromos, in some parts, and the Benishangul Gumuz and all, with this relentless invasion, they're actually presented, as savages or backwards, whereas the expansionists are called, civilized people. So our objective at OMN is, demystifying all these myths and uncovering the cover-up and giving a voice to the voiceless people in our region. Even though the problem is clear, the solution is simple. Those who benefited from the demise of people are hell-bent to continue pushing on this way. So to say that, for example, the most relevant excuse for current or especially for the last 29 years is blaming all these things not to the aggressors, not to the land looters, but to the federal system that is just on the paper. So because ethnic federalism is there, that is the cause of all violence is the narrative. So to see all this in details, we're gonna dive this program into two parts, as I said, and we will manage it and focus in that way. In part one, we will talk about the brief historical background of the issues in your region, Engineer Ibrahim, where you introduce us to Gumuz people and historical problems of the area. And then in part two, of course, we will visit the current event that made the region open to international media coverage as you see it recently. By the way, OMN expresses its sadness to all victims of the current crisis in the country, irrespective of ethnic backgrounds, but still continue to air grievances of victims. So on part one, Engineer Ibrahim, before getting into this contemporary history of Gumuz and its relationship with the Highlanders, as they call them, starting from around the formation of Ethiopia and the Empire Ethiopia. Can you just touch on what was the relationship between the indigenous people of the region and their neighbors? What was the interaction? Who were the Gumus traded and lived with side by side? Can you briefly touch this and just introduce the region to our audience, please?
Thank you again, and thank you to your network, Oromia network, being the voice for the voiceless. And I will start with the bad news. I hear that the ruling Bilgina party is targeting this network to shut them off the way they locked up the founder, Mr. Johar. Our prayer goes to him and all those who are people speaking out for the voiceless to be out from this unjustified detain for every politicians, every freedom fighter who have been jailing now, to shut them off and shut them out and to prove to the world he is a new dictator of the new era in so-called Ethiopia. Mr. Reje, is very sad for us as Benishangul people to speak about this country. I always tell the people that Ethiopians, especially the elite and the ruling elite, they go to the Africans and tell the African, oh, we are the only country who are not colonized by the foreigner. We are the only country who are not, we defeated the invaders. But the reality is what Ethiopians or the people who live in the country called Ethiopia, they don't know is this system ruling us since the Menelik time, it is itself is a colonialism. It is imperialism. It is a country who make my people who have been before that kings and princes and princes and rule a country like Sudan for 1200 years to be slave, to be walking with bare butt and barefoot, to be under torture, systematic, structural torture for more than a century. Ethiopia for us is slavery. Ethiopia for us is ethnic cleansing. Ethiopia for us is detaining. Ethiopia for us is the system who look down to us as inhumane, as less human, as even less than an animal, where we called Shankilla and Baria and all demeaning, dehumanizing names. This country who loves and loves our land, our resources, our gold, our water, our Nile, our rivers, they never loved us. They never loved us. They hated us to the core, who killing us. They hated us to the core, who enslave us. They hated us to look down to us. They never loved us. They never love us. But what we learn from all this, there is no different for us from Emperor Menelik or Emperor Haile Selassie or Colonel Mengistu or whatever rule after that and who's ruling today. Because all of them, they practice what exactly I said to you. I myself, I experienced in the era of EPRDF being in jail for 4 years. I never met my family on it. I took shower only once a year on it. I've been shooted with a live bullet. I lost all my comrades, my friends who have been with me in jail. We have been detained in the jail, which is a container, the goods container. They bring goods from Dubai. They put us there as 50 people. You urinate there, you stool there, you eat there if they family bring you food.
I'm sorry, Engineer Ibrahim. We're gonna come to that in details. Just take a couple minutes and tell us about history, the pre-Menelik history, how the Benishangul people lived
the pre-history. We are royals.
Yes, that's what I want to know.
We are royals. We are king all over the area. Starting from Matama to Gambela. All of these are princes and princesses who not only rule that area, we rule further to Massawa, we rule further to South Egypt. We have been established a country called Sudan. We are the people of Kush. We are the people of Nilotic. We are the people of the Nubian. We are the Bija people. This is our name. But when Ethiopia came, they removed all that nice history of us. We are the true honor of the name Ethiopia. But Ethiopia, it means black people. But they took that name and they gave us Shankilla. Ethiopia is the name given to the South Egypt, North Sudan today. Haile Selassie, when he was a refugee there, got that name. In 1945, exchanged it to Abyssinia. And then because Abyssinia committed atrocity, because in the name of Abyssinia, that's way they came to enslave us. That is the name who wiped half of the Oromias. That's the name who wiped half of the South and the Afar, the other things. How they established this country? They established it on the bloody things. Whatever you guys face in Oromia, we face it here. The first thing they did, they never talk or to our kings or to our leaders. No, they took them all in jail. And the resistance of our people, they wiped them out. That's what happened. And then the remaining generation like me, then our grandfather went to the same jail my father went and I went too. Today, what the Gumus people facing is the same thing their ancestors facing for this 100 years. The reason you know it today, because there is a media today. There is a social media today. There is a camera today can get out things to see our people, how they tighten in their back like Kontakinti. Today, you see that because some sneaky people there, they get that photo out. But this is the reality was going on in so-called Ethiopia. For us, this country never treat us fairly, never treat us as a human. Today, what do you see in Gumus? What do you see? People, they've been alive.
We'll come back.
They are sleeping. They are sleeping. Where they are sleeping, they get wiped out. Their farm get wiped out.
We'll come back widely on that subject, Engineer. Just to tie up this section, you will add more about this historical stuff. I myself was reading preparing for this interview, reading some document. The history is really, really exactly as you're putting it eloquently. To quote one of the sources that I read, it says, in general, beginning from the first half of the 18th century, Matakkal has been the destination to a large number of people for several reasons, such as slave raiding, collecting lucrative trade items, wild gaming, investment, searching jobs, and to settle permanently. This is Tsagga in 2006, and also says further, all of those took place through marginalization, dispossessing, and depriving of the Gumus based on the long-held frontier imagination that considered Matakal as empty of people but full of resources. Gabriel 2003 and Tsagga 2006. In this regard, it can be argued that such deprivation and marginalization is still fresh memory among the Gumus. So basically, the grievance of the Gumus people here, as you described it, it's exactly the same as what the Sidamas, the Somalis, the Afars, and the Oromos experienced. So for you to elaborate on this, that this led to create the suspicion between the indigenous people and the Highlanders long before even the 1974 revolution. Can you add into that and just collectively answer this, please?
Mr. Drege, I just give you simple example. The invaders, especially from the Highlanders, they never look at us, we are human like them. It just, I can describe it the way the brain of the wolf thinking about the lamb of the goat. They never look at it as this is goat, is an animal like us. They look at this as a piece of meat we have to attack and eat. We and our resources are considered for them is the wealth. Take the people, sell them, take the land, take their land, take this. But if you look at the Gumus people, the Barta people, because I want to explain to your audience one thing. When we say Benishangul is an area name, within this area name, we have main 4 tribes. The Gumus, the Barta, and the Como, and the Mao. Whoever came there with peace, we got in that marriage with them. We never have any problem between the Barta and Gumus, or Gumus and Barta, or Como and Mao, and also with the Kimat people who live around us. With the Agau people, we never have problem. With the Oromo people, with the Gambelian people, with the Sudanese people. Even though we have Gumus here and we have Gumus here, we have Barta here, we have Barta there, but they never invaded us, we never invaded them. What happened, people, when they come peacefully? If you are a farmer, you work with the farmer like you. If you are the trader, you work with trader with you. If you are a pastorate with a shepherd, they do the same thing. We have the same market with them. They never look down to us. They never give us a name. But why the others, they give us this name? Therefore, what happened, especially when they brought the settlers to us after the famine and all those things, what happened? They never first ask a permission. As a guest, you need, when you come somebody home, knock the door. And this is a culture. Knock the door. You are bringing these people, yeah, we understand they have been under pressure, they have been in famine and this and this. Why don't ask our elders? We know about leadership since the history, since even the establishment and the founding of so-called Ethiopia. We have leaders, we told you, will rule all this area for centuries. Why you don't come and ask our elder and talk to them? Hey, we have people in trouble here. We want them here. You can't find just a land we say this is empty. We don't have empty land. All the land is belong to the tribes who live there. Because in our farming system, we don't add fertilizer. We have own fertilizer the way we inherited in the Pharaoh time. I told you, we are the Cushitic people. We have a history of thousand years before even so-called Aksumite or so-called Ethiopians or Abyssinia exist. We are there with our mountains and rivers and this and this. It's all in our name. We shift a land. Today, for many years, you farm it, you leave it there, you put your cattle there to be on fertilizer, an organic fertilizer, and then you go another one. Don't come in Benishangol and see this land is empty. It's not empty. People, they left it in purpose for the animal to live there, for also the wild animal to live there, and also for a time being, it was self-fertilizing to come back for it. But when they came there, did they do the study? They didn't study. Did they talk for the indigenous people there? They never. Okay, what happened after they came? They came, they gave the machine, the tractors. They gave the fertilizer. They built the school. They built all this for the new settlers. They gave them money, fresh money. They gave them all the services. They protected them. Okay, what happened for the indigenous people who live there? They gave them none. Unfortunately, they took their land from them. They took their livestock from them. They killed them. They burned them alive. They enslaved them. They told them, go to Sudan, you are Sudanese. Yes, we are Sudanese, and we are proud Sudanese, but with our land. We are Sudanese with our land, with our mountains, with our rivers, with our Abai. You want to send us to Sudan? We go with our land. We are not going with that, without our land. That is where we exist. Before you exist, before you come from Yemen, before you come from Israel, from we came, we have been exist there. Before you immigrate to Africa, we were there. Then you need to leave us, not we leave.
Engineer Ibrahim, let me direct you to the 1980s area, because what you just elaborated about the culture of the Gumus or the Benishangul people as far as tending to their environment, tending to the land, the shifting agriculture you just talked about. Just because a couple of acres of land now is cultivated and another 5 acres of land is stayed for the second round of shifting agriculture, because as you said, fertilizers aren't used, so what is used is a shifting agriculture. But I think the people who came to institute this kind of land grabbing is saying that the land is open, nobody is there. But as you just said, the land in Gumus or even in Oromo and other regions, it belongs to an individual and also it belongs to the clan. That means it is protected for this shifting kind of agriculture. I want to take you to the 1980s. So, I mean, that's actually one of the profound tragedy that happened to your region is the 1980s settlement by the Derg. This settlement, especially in the name of Safara to Matakkal, and the program's impact on the indigenous clans around Pawe and other areas of Matakkal was incredible, including the Asosa areas and down also to Gambella. So there is a paper by Dassalany Rahmato called Settlement and Resettlement in Matakkal, Western Ethiopia. And that I want us to see, a few details from that paper. So this paper was, of course, presented on the 9th International Conference on Ethiopia Studies held in Moscow in, I think, August 1986. Actually, we ask our viewers to download and read. It's a 22-page study. I put it on my Facebook page, and also OMN will put it on. It's a fascinating tale of a study, how people went by to institute this kind of targeted elimination of indigenous for this expansion. So the document, shows the people behind this work, the Matakkal Safara or this expansion. They said they did a study. The only thing they did is an overplaying visit of the area to say this much land is available and this many people should settle. By the end of the day, when they determined how many people settle in Matakal or in Matakal area, it was twice as big as the indigenous people, the people who came there. So this so-called the land is open, therefore we can expand to it, happened to Wallo Oromos from Bati all the way to Raya, the Tulama Oromos from around the capital Addis, Finfinne, all the way to Adama. So this is a similar thing that went on. So my question to you, just on continuous of your analysis there, how did the resistance to this land confiscation and encroachment was implemented by or went on by the Gumus people try to protect themselves from this invasion?
I will tell you the story how it started. The story started that before they sending these settlers to our land, what happened, Mengistu Haile Mariam was the first head of state of so-called Ethiopia to visit Asosa. Haile Selassie tried, but he was passing away as a refugee at the time to Sudan. He needed the help of people to make him to escape from the Italian at that time. But he never came as a head of state to see our land. Only what he did, he just detained our people and then they called them there and talked to them. Because he knew this land does not belong to him. He knew these people, this nation don't belong to him. But Mengistu Haile Mariam, they made a visit to Asosa. And when our people came to welcome him, we dressed differently. Our women, they dress like a Sudanese woman. Our men dress like a Sudanese. And because we are Sudanese, it's not something hidden. And he was wondering, and he told people, he said, I thought I got lost. I thought I got lost. And in that time, he was in dispute with the Sudanese government, because the Sudanese government are also supporting his opposition there, and he was supporting the Sudanese support. And he said, I thought I lost, but I didn't believe this is part of Ethiopia, because the people who welcome him are not dressed like the people he is familiar to see. After that, with 6 months, we saw a lot of people from the Highlander in Asosa area and the Matama area and Matakal, and as you say, to Gambela too. Because what they meant here is eradicate the indigenous people, get rid of them, and replace them with the other people. And that is why I told you they give every help, every support. And this is not my things. This is CEDA wrote about it. All international organization who went there to help, they talk about it. How the government was giving everything to the settlers and giving nothing except atrocity to the indigenous people and the landlord of the land. Our resistance, because usually our people are very generous people. We love guests. I told you, part of when we say we are more civilized than them, that we are welcoming people. What the information we got, these people, they came from starvation, they got hunger, this and this and this, but we didn't know that there are people who starve for land grabbing. Because after that, these people, even not 1 year, 2 years, they start shooting our people. They start become part of the system who are jailing us. They start killing us. Till last year, in Asosa, there was a big demonstration. In Matakal, there was a big demonstration who telling our people, you are just a monkey, get out from it. Monkeys, get out from our land. Our resistance is this is the same atrocity. This is the same system. This is the same structure of the emperor is just coming again in a new way. We start talking. Our people who are in the parliament talk about people who join the parties, talk about it, but they end up in jail. They end up in jail. Like today. Today, what is Abiy is doing? All the members of his prosperity party, from the Gumus people, from the Barta people, he put them in jail. Except few. Not even me, like a clear opposition for them, but those who are working with them, part of their party. Now, if you go to Matakal, if you go to the Asosa, half of them or 2/3 of them in jail. Who's remaining with them is those who are just willing to polish the shoes. We are powerless, except that we are asking international community. We are asking people like you, who knows what is atrocity, to get our voice louder to the world. There is something wrong going on here for a century. We are human beings and we deserve to live in our land with dignity.
Very, very well, Ibrahim. Yes, we have to be the voice for the voiceless, for our people. But at the end, I'm just gonna say and pass with saying that I might have to challenge you about the preference of citizenship or the preference of a country. Yes, the current Ethiopia was created in the 1880s by land looting. When the Europeans were doing the partition of Africa, Menelik was part of that negotiation that goes on the demarcation and cutting Oromos from this to this, cutting Somalis from Ogaden to main Somalia, cutting part of the people to the Sudan, part of the people to Ethiopian side. So this has been going on to all, including the Oromos. Oromos live in two countries. Your people lives in two countries. The Somalis live in 2-3 countries. The Afar lives in 2-3-4 countries. So this is part of the Europeans' colonial doing, and also Menelik's participation in that. But as of now, the relationship I have with you is being in that one country that was formed by force. And we're going to have to maybe live together with understanding all the atrocities to create this country called Ethiopia and to correct it. So saying with that, I'm going to pass to the second part of our discussion, which is the current contemporary Gumuz area politics in general Ethiopia. I'm going to start with the Guardian's writing, I think it's last week. On the third line, it says at least 102 killed in massacre in Western Ethiopia after Abiy visit, says the Guardian. So more than 100 people have been killed. This is what the Ethiopian and Western Ethiopian region is what the newspaper is saying. We extensively discussed, as you know, the genesis of the crisis, what created all this problem to that region, and how this problem can be mitigated. So picking up from what is going on today, what made this time and this violence different than the previous one? Why is it hotter than now than ever before? Are the fundamental issues the same still, or what are the events that fueling this to go to maybe out of proportion, even engulfing the entire region of the area? So just bring us back to the current situation and show us what is the difference now for this thing to be hotter than ever, Engineer Ibrahim.
Number one is Abiy himself. Abiy is a bloody mind, I don't know, new leader for Ethiopia who want to eradicate everybody and just to make him the seventh emperor or seventh king of Ethiopia, as he said, his mom told him. What going on in our region since Abiy got the power, the first thing he did, he put our region, our state in a siege. Because before, when they locked the road from us through Bardar, through Nakam to go to Addis Ababa, we have an option to go to Sudan to get our daily bread, whatever we want, our needy there. He closed that one. That means Benishangul people, they can't move to go to Addis Ababa or to go to the neighboring states, and we can't go to Sudan. Number one. Number two, everyone from the opposition party or anyone even sitting in home, he knows only to read and write with the Amharic. He put them, he detained them in jail. Abiy, when he came to the power, he released all politicians from other regions from Addis Ababa, as you know in the beginning, even though he took them back again to jail. But in Asosa, in Matakal, in any part of Benishangul, he never did that. Our people, they are the same, being jailed as EPRDF, the same, they continue, and Abiy add more to them. But this Abiy wants for this dumping dam, bloody dam called Great Dam, who built in Benishangul, he wants Matakal without people. Why? Because he sold that place to the investors. He sold this land for investors, international investors, to come and build the city called Abiy Ahmed City. This is what's going on. 5-star hotels. They don't need black people there. They don't need bare butt people there. They don't need Gumus people there. They don't need Barta people there. They want to bring a different kind of human being there to replace us, because they tried Mengistu tried in 1980, who brought the Highlander. They gave them our land. Now is the time to bury us alive, because he want to build new cities with the name of prosperity, without us, on our body, on our children dead body, on our women dead body. That is what Abiy is doing. Why is faster this time? Because the Grand Dam, they said they finished 80% of it, and now it has to go with a new plan. They are building I don't know how many villages, 4,000 villages there. New villages for the new people, with the high standard people. That is the plan. Why Abiy got the drone? Where he got the drone today, he killing Tigrian with? Who gave him the drone? Are the rich people, the wealthy people. He gave him that. Who gave him our land already? He gave them our land. That's why you want to get rid of it. Okay, Mr. Abiy, you are the president of this country. You are the prime minister of the country. Consider us, even you are colonizing us. Okay, the British, they colonized Sudan, Kenya, and this. They never killed them like that. They never jailed them like that. They built them universities. They built them infrastructure. Why are you different? Why they're different? Because, Mr. Director, they never wanted us. They never wanted us. They wanted our land. They wanted our water. They wanted our gold. But we have to die and build their prosperity program on our dead body. This is what is going on.
Very well, very well. Let me continue without getting out of this place, just to bring you up to the very current issues. So, as you know, the world watch, there was a war recently, a war in the name of rule of law, meaning there are 20 to 30 TPLF bad people, so-called TPLF leaders. So the name is to destroy them, to bring them to justice, and all that. Here at OMN, as you are following us, we never had any sympathy for this TPLF thugs, whether they are eradicated, came to face the justice that they didn't deserve. That's all fine. But the war is not actually to do that. It claims that way, but it wasn't for that. Because the way you tell is the participant of the war. The participant of the war has two things in mind. Number one is revenge. Number two is returning a lost land, so-called Ristamas Maldas. These are the two components. So from the get-go, our stand was, yes, you are much related to TPLF, to this government. You are much related to this TPLF thugs, and you're one father and son relationship. But what you're doing in bringing a bloody war that has a possibility of a big catastrophe, such as genocide, should not happen because of that, was what we were claiming. Why were we saying that? The second point that we made was the participant of this war, if they claim victory in Tigray, they will be moving forward to the next target, believing they can also grab a land or revert a constitution. It's just on paper that gave federalism to the people. So basically, the war is initiated for a revenge and land returning. And the victorious of, as we fear, the victorious of this war are after the second target, like the Benishangul and the Oromos and further down, until they get their way to be replacing everything we see now or any progress that's made. So, in your observation, the so-called victorious people that said the next what is this called? Federal region that's supposed to be dismantled is Benishangul, is what the declaration. Is this happening right now in Benishangul area, that the victorious are pushing forward to repeat the so-called quote-unquote victory that they got from Tigray? Engineer Ibrahim?
First of all, let's go to Abiy. Abiy, what we experienced from him these 3 years, that means he's a chronic liar. And he's a chronic manipulator. Abiy, when he talk about love, he means hate. When he talks about peace, he means war. When he's digging and planting plants in Addis Ababa, he is the same time digging mass grave to bury our people in Matakal and in other places, either in Benishangul or elsewhere in the country. Abiy, when he went for war against the Tigrayans, is not because of the law, because Abiy himself, he is expired. He has no legitimacy. You know that, Reja, I know that. Since October 5th, this guy, he lost legitimacy. He has no legitimacy. In the entire country called Ethiopia, if there is somebody who has a legitimacy, is the Tigrayan, the TPLF election was done before the deadline. Abiy exceeded the deadline of his parliament. Abiy never got elected. Abiy, he was a minister of information and the minister who have been surveillance for you and me, especially the diaspora people. He is the colonel of security things. Abiy, he is a criminal who should go to international crime, a criminal court, if there is really law. Abiy went to war because the only people who stand between him and being the king are the Tigrayans. He knows. Because this is his fellow, this is his comrade. They've been together in EPRDF. He grown up in their cage. He grown up eating the same bread and drinking the same whiskey together. The difference is now they are fighting on the wealth. A wealth from Benishangul and a wealth from Oromia and a wealth from other people. They are fighting for the power. But who's the victim? The victim are the Tigrian people. The victim are the Amara people themselves, or Benishangul people, Oromia people. The victim is the country as a whole. Because Abiy wanted to do one thing with throw one stone and hit many things. First, to get rid from this fake federalism. Because in my land, in my state, Benishangul, we never have something called true federalism. It was a fake one. It was a forged one. Never implemented. It was the same thing as the central things. Even though we and me personally, being part of the people who made that constitution, even in the federal or in the state, that means everybody has to rule himself or itself by himself, self-determination. We did that because we fought for it. We fought dark for it. But when we came to implement it, we are being taken to jail. They shut our mouth. They brought a new people to serve them. Just the same thing Abiy party, Prosperity Party, is doing. They got rid from the old APDF, and now they're creating a new people to serve them, to serve their purpose. It's colonialism continuing, just in the different person. Abiy, when he went to war, he wanted to get rid from TPLF and put his PP people. The same thing in Benishangul now, he got rid from everybody. Those who have been working with him, those who are not working with him, and now Benishangul is under post command, military. Every warada, there is a colonel there who have been installed by Abiy to take care of killing our people. That 100 people you mentioned, who killed them? Abiy killed them. Who killed them? The police commissioner called Abiy, Abiy from Amara State. Who killed them? Is Damake, the vice prime minister. They are the one who killed those 100 people, and before them killed 600 people in Jawe. Before them, they killed 232 people in Poland and Debate. All this, they are the killer because they are the one who have the gun. They are the one who have gun. They are the one who distributed the gun to the people. They are the one who said that, dehumanizing people, our people, telling them they're uncivilized, get rid of them.
Very well. We're heading to the end of our discussion, Engineer Ibrahim. All you said, what's happening in Benishangul, in my opinion, is just a microcosm of what's going on in the entire country. It is looting. It is taking advantage of. It is pushing indigenous people to the edges of or to the verge of extinction. That's what's going on. There are a lot of projects that they claim to the world that's going to lift that country from poverty, whereas that's supposed to come at the expense of a targeted people's elimination from the world. You can connect everything, Ibrahim. The oil exploration of Ogaden since the 1950s and 60s, from Tenico America to Soviet Union, to the Cubans, to the Chinese, to Italians, all that, we know who are the investors are. The gold mining in Lagadambi, a dam that you just talked about in Benishangul. Now, recently, there are a lot of activities going on around Addis area, a brand new airport they want to see by completely eradicating the whole clan. They just announced that they're going to build a city in the heart of Tulama in Oromia to eliminate indigenous people all in all. So the tactic is there are already some people who made money, not the local people, not the indigenous. The settlers made money and they have cash in their hand. When you come and announce there is a project, they are the ones who compete and win. They bring all kind of settlers there, moving and eradicating the local people that are unwanted. This is, Ibrahim, you know the Addis area, the surrounding Addis area. Just in the 1990s, early 90s, only Addis was a little circular island of Oromia. Today, there is a district or a province called a special administration of Addis. Oromos are 18% of the population. Yes, the farmland of those old Tulama lands used to be just farmlands. Yes, there wasn't electricity, there wasn't a school, there wasn't hospital, that's true. But with the hospitals, with the electricities, with the schools, with the bars, with restaurants, with hotels, came the elimination and eradication and extinction of the Tulama Oromos from Addis area. So this is what is going on throughout this exact same story that you tell about the Berta people, about the Gumus people, about the Gambella people, the Sidama, the Somalis, the Afar, you name it, the list goes on. It's exact same thing. Exact same thing. The investors are there. The God's forsaken people to be eliminated are there. So having said that, just to conclude our conversation here, there is a huge security problem by the doing of the Prosperity Party, causing war everywhere. There is no peace in Tigray, no peace in Gondar with Sudan, the Matakkal area, and in Oromia, of course, it's a declared war. Every day, people get killed and dumped in ditches. In Somalia, in region, and everywhere, not only locally, but with international consequence of the entire region going to, the hell basket. At the center of this is where the Prosperity Party is declaring to have an election to get some kind of legitimacy from a winning fake election. Why is fake election? Because the only standing opposition to itself is a Prosperity Party. So it leads the board of elections, and the board of election is the mouthpiece of this party. All the opposition parties' leadership, including the icon of that struggle that contributed to the, sending the TPLF home, Jawar Mohammed, as you know. All these people are in Kaliti with all their comrades, the local competitors or the local or politicians are all in jail. So with all this chaos and then with all this doing, there is a declared election. So in general, you can add whatever you haven't gotten to before. In general, what is the preparation of the Gumus people to counter this? What is your advice to this Prosperity Party? And in general, what do you think is the way out of this crisis? As a Benishangul or a Gumus, please.
Abiy Ahmed and his party, they are a joke when they talk about election in this time. It's a joke, really. These people are, I don't know, they are not serious. Because Abiy, instead of declaring that having election, he should declare himself an emperor and just finish. You don't need to waste your money to go here or here, because election, it means you give people a choice to choose between you and others. Even the dictators in other African countries, they do that to forget things, the fake things. But Abiy, even that one, he didn't give a chance for it. because he took everybody to jail. Everybody into jail. Who's remaining with him? His PP party himself. It's just like Isapa before. I don't know if you have my age or not. We know Isapa before is just Mengistu, and Mengistu is the only one. And Haile Selassie is the only one. He declared himself that and saved that money and added to buy another gun to kill more people. In Benishangul, we have no party, no parties. Everybody in jail. Even I told you in Gumus today, Matakal today, you go, those who have been in the Waradas level, Kabale level, district level, to the village level, to the zone level, who have been working with PP, they are in jail. Therefore, our people now, they are not thinking about electricity or internet or all those things for other people who is needy. We are thinking only to survive, to exist. We are wishing just these people leave us in our land to exist as any living aspect. We never ask them electricity. We never ask them this. We never ask them all this. What we want to be free in our land and live there. Election for us is nothing because we know the result now. I can tell you the result, Mr. Abiy. You are the winner. 99.99999. The previous parliament, it was 100% the APRDF, right? He can do that. You don't need to waste money. The parliament now, he's always talking to them and lecturing them. There is no one single opposition on it. The same thing. It's the same thing. Mr. Dereja, we are not expecting anything from these people. Just what we want from them to leave us alone. And what we want from international community, this country, you guys treat him as your police in Horn Africa. This country is killing everybody today. This young guy, you guys donated and gave him peace Nobel Prize. He took that and gave himself a certificate to kill everybody, to detain everybody, to cancel everything related to peace and democracy and federalism. He is committing a crime against humanity in every corner of so-called Ethiopia. Therefore, something has to be done. The freedom fighters, the freedom lover, the democracy lover, especially the new government of elected new government in the United States, the Biden government, they have to do something. European Union, they have to do something. Black Caucus, they have to do something. Because this is insane. In the 21st century, we live still under torture, under slavery, under detaining, and we have no right as human beings to speak out for ourselves.
Thank you, Engineer Ibrahim. I hope you did service to your people. As you know, there are a lot of propaganda war. As much as it is on Oromos, it is also on Gumuz and Benishangul and everywhere. As I mentioned before, whenever anything happens, it is the savages who did this, it is the backwards who did this. But in actuality, people are just defending themselves to stay where they are, to their ancestors on their ancestral land. This is what's happening in Oromia. Everywhere, in every town, in every Kabale, people who are dying, and from prison, they pull from prison and getting shot. It's just to stay on their land, to be just, the owner of their destiny. And I mean, as you saw in all the propaganda that's going on, when the Gumuz, people were killed, like about 400 of them, I remember a year and a half or 2 years ago. Nobody mentioned that. The prime minister didn't mention it. The so-called now running everywhere and raising millions of birr or dollars didn't mention it. So we have to come back and educate people who don't understand or who don't know all these facts. And I really appreciate, thank you for being with us and taking all our questions and doing this interview. Thank you in the name of Oromia Media Network, of course. Extend my gratitude for your presence. And I wish you well, and I hope you'll come back and we do this again.
Thank you, Mr. Darija. Thank you for Oromia Media Network. Really, we appreciate it. Our people will appreciate it because you have been the voice of the voiceless of our people of Banishangul for the Gumus and Parta Nkomo more. And we will keep up this great job for other minorities too, because we have no voice. And that is why they are killing us and they go and cry. What is going in our region now? They have the gun and go and kill us, and then they go and complain and cry. And they repeat that everywhere because they know we don't have a media to speak for ourselves. And that's why they kept repeating it. But people like you, people like Omen, who's doing this great job, we will appreciate it. Thank you very much. Keep on the great job. And that is how we're going to live together as a human being.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And for our OMN viewers, we say thank you again to you too for staying with us and be part of this program. And until we see you with another special program again, I'm Derek Jahaz with our technician Mahdi. And thank you and goodbye.